If I could have one superpower, I think it would be being in multiple places at the same time. So in high school, I was, a pretty good student, decent, very active in sports. I played really as much as I could. I cared about school just solely for the reason so I could play sports, but I think it was going into my sophomore year, the end of my freshman year is where things started to turn a little differently. Started feeling sick more often, and one day I was playing baseball and I was trying to pitch and I just couldn't. I threw and I just didn't have as much power or strength, and people noticed it and it was visible, and I had lost a lot of weight. So I think that's when I started to figure out something was really wrong with me, and as far as health-wise. And that's when I found out that I was diagnosed with Crohn's disease. It's very easy to go into a depression when you're constantly feeling sick and you can't seem to catch a break and get better. So right after high school, I tried going to Fullerton College. I think I went for the first week, and I just went home and I was feeling sick. And it was just a consistent, thing that was going on. So I ended up dropping out. I tried at ELAC, and I tried at Long Beach City College, and I even tried at Cerritos College, and it was really the same thing. Trying to find out what works for me, but I was really victim to a lot of my disease, and I was not feeling well, and just not being able to make it to the classes, or not having the energy when I went home to actually do the assignments. I was taking 16 pills a day, and then, sometimes it was working, and then sometimes it wasn't. So I came across this diet, and it was called the specific carbohydrate diet. About 3 months in is where I started to see some pretty significant changes, and I started to gain some weight back. It was working. So I went back to school, and I tried at Cerritos College. I was like surprised, hey, this college thing is actually working out for me. I'm a lot smarter than I thought. I'm not just a failure. It was more along the lines of me not being able to take those classes at that time. So my student involvement it began at Cerritos College. I decided, as I was transferred into Long Beach State, I wanted to continue that student advocacy, student leadership. I decided to run for a Senate position, and I ended up becoming the senator for College of Health and Human Services. The following semester, I had, bigger ambitions to kind of make a bigger impact. And I thought that I would do that by running as ASI Vice President. I think it was about a month into my term where the president, he had some personal matters that he had to attend to and take care of. So within a month of being the vice president, I was actually promoted to... My name is Nino, and I am this year's ASI president.
And at that point is when I started working with folks on media relations and how to kind of craft a message and that kind of stuff. So that's when I got to know Joe, and when he kind of transitioned from the vice presidency to the presidency.
So I met Joe in 2016. We were on the board of directors together, so we were senators. And instantly Joe was really charismatic. He's really open-minded, so he always wants to know more about your culture or who you are and where you came from. So yeah, he's a really nice guy. We worked on a couple projects together that year, and then later on he ended up appointing me to be his chief diversity officer when he was in office as president.
ASI impacted me, and it's hard to describe it in words, but really beyond belief.
You grow by sometimes having difficult situations thrown at you, and then you learn a lot about yourself when you have that. And so what ASI does in a lot of ways is kind of throw you into an opportunity that you necessarily wouldn't have until maybe you're in a professional experience. And it says, hey, let's get this done together, let's teach you how to be a professional a little earlier than sometimes you would.
I was given so many different opportunities to work with high-level administration, with faculty, with students, and sitting at the table, and not just sitting at the table, but being a part of the discussion.
And he came out kind of with the exact foundation of what you wanted to do, which was, bring more people to the table, be inclusive, give a voice to folks who didn't necessarily have that opportunity.
Joe knew that if he didn't identify as one of those people, then he would not know how to speak for those folks. So he always knew when to step back.
And I think that's because he had a different journey to get to college and get his degree. So he kind of knew how that felt, and I think wanted to be a champion for those folks. So Joe knew that foundation, so anything he ended up tackling, he was ready to go because he had a good foundation. I think that set him aside, and I think that's a strong attribute for any leader, and I'm proud to have worked with that.
Not only are we, student government, but it's that, that organization that is, a multi-million-dollar organization. And I learned a lot of business aspects of ASI and the workings of the university.
One time, Joe was taking out his executive team. We went to an escape room, and this was at the beginning of the year. We were trying to bond, kind of get to know each other, and I couldn't parallel park because it was in Long Beach. So he got in to park my car, and he actually hit his car while he was parking my car. So, and we always joke about that, like whenever he gets in my car or if I get in his car. So yeah, so good times.
So now I'm serving as the chair for the California State Student Association, chair of the board of directors. So as a graduate student, I'm also working with ASI as the graduate assistant for government affairs. This really allows me to continue working in higher education, which I've become so passionate about. So it gives me an opportunity to mentor, the senators, the student leaders, and really get new students involved in student government and show how their advocacy efforts could help out, generations of students. It's hard to say one person inspires me because it really is everybody. It's, every student I meet, every student I talk to. It's the administration that I worked with. It's the advisors that we have, that I've had in the past. Education really means a lot to me. It's really the pathway for, a lifetime of success. It opened up a lot of doors for me. Knowledge is power, as they say, but that really means a lot. Really, it provides people that opportunity for a second chance, and I think that's what really it did to me, is it gave me a second chance, and I'm super appreciative of it.